Hello everyone, thank you for joining this short workshop on building multilingual conversational AI agents. Especially in Singapore, where we have 4 official languages and many more, of course, it is very important for your conversational AI agents to speak the language of your users. So this is why we've built 11 Labs Conversational AI, to allow you to really speak the user's voice in any language and in any voice. Now, the way that conversational AI works is we have a couple different components to it here. So first of all, the user speaks to the agent, so we need to transcribe their speech to text. Then we have a large language model, which acts as the brain for our agent, taking action, performing function calls, tool calling, retrieving information from the RAG, the knowledge base, and many such things. And then once we have generated a response, we have the text-to-speech component to provide speech back to the user. So in order to get started, we can just click here, get started for free. And once we're logged in, we can see here our 11 Labs app. Now, the first part that is critical is finding the right voices for our users. And so what we can do here is we can search within the voice library. So we have a large catalog of different voices in different languages with different accents as well. So what we can do is we can search for our language for example, in Singapore, we're speaking, English. So here we can find Singaporean for the accent, and then we can see the voices that are available. So for example, here, James.
There is divinity in every soul.
Or Mun here as well.
Today, we're going to learn about a unique custom in Singapore called chop.
So if Mun sounds good to us, we can click here on use. Or if you haven't used it before, it will say add. So you can click on add to add it into your personal voice library. Now, again, we can do this for Chinese as well. And here we can also select Singaporean as the accent if we want to find a voice that maybe sounds a bit more local. And so here we have Lazarus.
温和而清晰的中年男性嗓音，带有自然的语调和流畅的表达方式。榆树瓜中。
So here, for example, we have
温和而
Lazarus.
清晰的中年男性嗓音，带有自然的语调和流畅的表达方式。
And again, if that sounds good to us, we can click use. And then we can repeat this as well for Malay. And of course, Tamil is also supported. And once we have all the languages, all the voices for our different languages added to the voice library, we can now go ahead and we can create our conversational AI agent. So here we click on conversational AI and then on agents. So in your case, if you don't have any agent created yet, you would simply click new agent and select an appropriate template. You can just select blank if none of the others apply to you, and then you give it a name and you click create agent. So I've already got this prepared here. I got my Apidays Singapore agent, and so you can see now that we have a default agent language. So for example, we can assign English as the default language, and then we can select additional languages. So here in Singapore, we might want to support Chinese, Malay, and Tamil. We can then provide a first message. So we can say, for example, hi there, this is the Apidays Singapore Conversational AI agent. How can I help you? And then with a click of a button, we can translate that to all of our available languages. So we can see here, then it becomes available in Chinese, in Malay, and also in Tamil. Fantastic. So that we have set up. In the system prompt, we can define kind of how our agent will think and act and perform, so to speak. So here for now it just says you're a helpful assistant, but of course we can encode a lot more information here, and we have some great documentation on conversational voice design. So that also gives you some, ideas on kind of which voices will do great. And then also we have a prompting guide here that gives you kind of some context on sort of what you can encode in the prompt, everything from sort of the personality, the environment, the tone, the goals, the guardrails. So really there is a lot of tools there that you can use to really make your conversational AI agent as performant as you want it to be. And then we can also inject some dynamic variables. So say we have, the user's name in a CRM and we know that they are logged in, we can inject that. So for LLM, we support kind of all the major large language models that you would want to choose. But then also if you have some fine-tuned model that you use, or, some cloud platform that you use, you can plug in your custom LLM here. We'll just go with Gemini 2.0 Flash as a default here. And then we can easily add a knowledge base for our agent. So we can add some documents, for example, we can add URLs, we can add files, we can create some text if we have that. And so here, for example, I've simply put in the agenda and kind of information and speaker details about API Days. Okay, great. And then lastly, we have tools. So we can enable the agent to perform function calling. That is very possible. We have some system tools enabled here as well. So these you can add with here add tool, and then you find all the system tools. So the language detection tool is what you will want to enable for the agent to be able to automatically switch between the different languages. And then the end call tool is just for the agent to be able to hang up the call. And then lastly, the voices, we've jumped into the voice library earlier on. So, for our default English voice, we found Moon to be great with kind of a slight Singaporean accent. But then we can also, for our different languages, we can assign the different voices that we found that work best. So for example, here for Malay as well, we found a great one, and for Tamil in the voice library. So you can just assign a specific voice per language. And then let's go ahead and have a little chat with our agent.
Hi there, this is the API Days Singapore Conversational AI Agent. How can I help you today?
What is the name of that 11 Labs speaker?
The developer advocate from 11 Labs is Thorsten Schaeff. Is there anything else I can help you with regarding speakers?
我不
or the
会
Apidays?
说英文，你会说中文吗？
好的，当然，我很乐意用中文为您提供帮助。您有什么需要了解的？
Yeah, can we switch to Malay?
Baiklah, mari kita bertukar ke bahasa Melayu. Ada apa yang boleh saya bantu?
And then finally, can we switch into Tamil, please?
Okay, I understand you'd like to switch to Tamil. Just to confirm, would you like me to respond in Tamil from now on?
Yes, please.
சரி, நாங்கள் இப்போது தமிழுக்கு மாறுவோம். நான் உனக்கு எப்படி உதவ முடியும்?
All right, fantastic. And as you can see, there's kind of two different modes to the language detection. So, first of all, in the scenario where, say, the person doesn't understand any English, right? And they would reply in Mandarin saying, I don't understand any, English. Then the agent recognizes that, okay, this person is talking in, Mandarin to me, and then switches also into the language, if it has that supported. Now, the other mode is that you can specifically, for example, in English, ask to switch to Malay or Tamil. So these are kind of the two different modes. And you could hear as, it was switching the languages, it was also switching the voices in the background. So really, really powerful platform here, conversational AI agents by 11 Labs. I would be really interested to learn kind of what you are working on, what your use cases are. So drop them in the comments below. And otherwise, looking forward to seeing you at the next workshop. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Bye-bye.